Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 16 of the ForgeServ Let's Play. In between episodes, I built a new entryway to the village using a bit of a castle design that I found on r/Minecraft. I did chisel it up a little bit because it was using mostly stone brick blocks, so I changed things around a little bit to use a lot of cobblestone variants and a few smooth stone variants. Changed the woods to be my own variety because I think he was using oak wood, and I like oak wood for some things, but dark oak looks really nice for others. So, with that being said, everything seems to be built here. I made a little pathway out of bricks, which was my own personal touch, and have implemented it in here with the rest of the village. So I really like this. I've got the railroad tracks down per usual. It has a few good little nooks and crannies, and the reason that I built this is because I think it'd be a really good place to put some public spawn stuff in case anyone gets new on the server, or has to just start over because of unfortunate death circumstances, or any other number of things, really. So, this is just a nice little way of kind of having something centrally located. So, my plan is to use it for public immersive engineering machines, because immersive engineering has been added to the server as of this episode. It's a super great mod. Now the detriment or flaw with it that I have is the fact that it does have some very large machines that are sometimes hard to structure and organize, so I built this to keep it all kind of together. I'll be using power cells for the most part. I know that's not the nature of immersive engineering's intentions, but I think they'll kind of work out for the best. So let's get started here. I'm going to get some clay smelting, because for immersive engineering, it's the only mod that we have which offers a coke oven or a blast furnace. So I don't have any coal coke, and even now, actually, I haven't thought to do it yet. So I'm still kind of waiting on all of that. So we'll go ahead and get all of our coke bricks ready. We're going to need 27 of them, but of course they craft in pairs. So we'll have an extra of both this and the blast furnace brick. And we'll go ahead and put down our coke oven right here in this corner. From the outside, it doesn't look that bad, so I'll just leave it there. I don't mind having it protrude a little bit. I do want to be certain that the blocks down here are fixed, though. I use smooth stone to kind of map out the surface of the wall here, but that may have been a mistake. So we'll finish up the structure. One small weird thing I'm noticing is that the immersive engineering blocks don't make a sound when you place them, but that's okay. Now this is where I think I'm going to go ahead and put the blast furnace. It's kind of hard to find places in these little nooks, but I feel like it's kind of a waste of space not to use them, so I'll use these for now, but I may use them as like a storeroom later down the road and move the blast furnace and coke oven. So there's steel scaffolding and everything that we're going to need here, because I want to build a crusher now. I do apologize for the incessant sounds in the background. It's a bug with RF Tools, of course. Actually, it's a bug with Britannia with the RF Tools elevator. So I've downgraded Britannia on the server since then. But let's go ahead and get a speed build put together of the crusher. So the crusher, once again, is going to be one of those public use items. That way anybody who gets started, if they want to like efficiently process their ores, they may. It'll be very, very, very easy for them. And there we have it. So the crusher has been assembled. We'll use a power cell right here on top and set it to output mode. And that'll make sure that our crusher gets plenty of power. So I tried to kind of have a simple automation setup for this. That did not fare very well. So I'm going to look into some other options off camera. But for now, I want to actually get a middle press started as well. So the middle press itself is not going to be a very big deal, but it's a nice, easy way of getting some metals formed without using one of the metal formers or shears all the time, because you can use shears to make some of your wires using immersive engineering. So the wires aren't really, as of recording the voiceover for the video right now, everything is looking okay with the wires, but as of recording it, they were a little bit buggy. But fortunately, they have been fixed. Their rendering has been fixed, which is exciting because they're really pretty wires. And so we'll go ahead and get our heavy machine block, which is also going to require a piece of electrum, which I did not particularly plan for. So we'll get the electrum ready. There's a few new alloys that are added by immersive engineering that I need to have taught to my auto crafting system, because the auto crafting system has been pretty comprehensive with the alloys. So I think we're almost ready here. Just got to get the electrum ready. So electrum is going to be gold and silver. And you can actually make this alloy in a alloy smelter, fortunately for us. And at some point, I'm not sure if I've done it yet in this video, but I know I've done it since, I have gone through and changed most of my ingots to be Immersive Engineering ingots in my storage system. And as you can see, I also took some time to process some uranium off camera because I have some plans for some pretty simple power gen. I'm doing good on power gen right now, but uranium is actually a really good source of power for later too. So I think the metal press would be really good down here. I think it's one of those that might get used the most often, at least by myself. And you know, this is a terrible design, so let's try this a different way. Let's try it here. Why not? So, fortunately, the layout for this is pretty easy to remember. So, that's one fortunate step here, is the fact that since it's only about 5 blocks aside from the conveyor belts, there's not really a whole lot to it. So, the piston goes here facing down. If it doesn't face down, then when you're right-clicking on it with the engineer's hammer, it'll actually take care of the rotation for you, as you're about to see. There you go. See, it'll rotate it, and then once it rotates the right way, it'll form the metal press. So with our metal press formed, I wanted to look into some nice ways of automating it. We'll go and slap the power cell on top here as well, by the way. But I wanted to come in with some nice ways of automating it. So I wanted to give these vertical conveyor belts a try. They do kind of work, but I'm not really terribly fond of them, to be honest, and it's mostly because of how they appear. They don't appear to connect too well, but, well, okay, they've gotten better, but some corners are a little bit off. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see how things turn out with them, but I might be okay without them. Now I'm here visiting the metal former because I needed some steel plates, and specifically steel that I'm needing. And I didn't want to use a hammer. I could have used my engineer's hammer for that, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do it kind of legitimately. And so, plus I believe I may have Mindtweaker removed the recipe for that. I don't recall for sure. But I want to go ahead and get a press template for plates, as well as one for wires. So to make the plate one, I'm actually going to need one more steel plate. There we go. And then for the wire one, I'm going to need to craft a wire, which, like I said, with Immersive Engineering, it's a little bit, it's not really difficult or complicated. In fact, I requested it be the way that it is now. I was one of the ones who voted for it to be this way. But it definitely takes some more involvement than just a simple recipe. So we'll take a look and see what the cable recipe is looking like. Because the mold for these, there we go, so it's going to require some sort of wire and then shears. So I might actually already have a plate in my system. Nope. And so since I don't have a forge hammer with me, I'll just go ahead and take a piece of copper over to the metal former and turn it into a plate as well. And do it the way that it was intended. Much better. And so now with wire in hand, we can go ahead and make our wire mold. Excuse me. So with the metal press wire mold here and ready to go, you know, we're kind of coming up again already close to the end of the episode, unfortunately. Let's hop down the stairs though. But I did want to discuss just the fact that with Immersive Engineering on here, there's a lot of changes. We've got some retrogen turned on. But there's a lot of changes in how some things have been done ever since then, because some of the items have been a little bit laggy. So I have disabled a few of them, like the water wheel and the windmill. So for the most part, I'm trying to come up with a nicer way of automating this without it being laggy. But we're looking at the newest update has actually been pretty okay. So I don't think it won't be too much longer until we'll be done. But I have introduced Mine Tweaker onto the server, or Craft Tweaker, whichever you would like to call it. The current term is Craft Tweaker because the Mine Tweaker name was taken by the original version of the mod before it was forked. Nonetheless, I've basically changed a lot of the mods because I've added a few new ones, and so I've changed a few of the recipes to kind of make sense or intermingle. For example, big reactors have been added, or extreme reactors, which is big reactors. Again, it's another forking issue with the name. And extreme reactors recipes, I feel, even for the legacy tier right now, while I know he plans on adding more tiers, is a little bit too easy. So I've gone through and have actually craft tweaked the recipes so that they now require you to get into some of the industrial craft nuclear, I guess, progression. So it's kind of all about balance, and I'm trying to keep it that way. So, like I said, we're coming up on the end of the episode, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.